Start by adding 4 potatoes cut into half-moon shapes. The oil is already hot, so let the potatoes fry. Fry them until they turn golden for a few minutes. Look, the fried potatoes are almost ready. Now add 12 onions cut into half-moon shapes. Mix them with the potatoes. Let the onions fry with the potatoes for a few more minutes. Be careful when mixing, because the oil is very hot and you might burn yourself. Do it cautiously. Since the potatoes are almost ready, leave them aside for now. Now prepare the egg mixture. In this bowl, add 6 or 7 eggs. Then add a teaspoon of salt. Also, add half a teaspoon of black pepper. Mix the eggs well, whisking them with a fork to make it easier. This potato recipe will surprise you. It's delicious and easy to make with everyday ingredients. I mixed the eggs well, and now the potatoes are ready. So, turn off the heat. Drain a bit of the oil and add the potatoes to the eggs. Remove all the potatoes from the pan and add them to the eggs. All in the same bowl. Don't worry, the result will be excellent. Even though it's a different recipe, everyone who tries it always wants more. Now, just mix the potatoes with the eggs well. Look, I mixed the potatoes with the eggs well. Now, put everything back in the pan with a bit of oil. Notice that I'm using a smaller pan, and the oil is just to grease it. Add all the potatoes and distribute them evenly, organizing them in the pan. Turn the heat to low temperature and cover the pan. After a few minutes, it will have cooked on one side. Then, flip the recipe. Look, it's golden on one side. Now, use a plate to flip the recipe. See how it's turning out. Put it back in the pan to brown the other side. You can use spatulas or a board to flip it. I always like to flip it this way, to keep the recipe together and avoid breaking it. And to finish our recipe, cover it again and leave it for a few more minutes to brown. Look, it's ready. The other side is perfectly golden as well. Now, take the plate and flip the recipe one more time. Look at how it turned out. A real marvel. See how our recipe stayed whole and well browned. In just a few minutes, it's ready. Cut a portion to show you how it looks inside. Try this recipe at home and let me know how it turned out. I want to know if you achieved the perfect point, and if you came up with any different ideas for this recipe. Enjoy your meal.
I didn't like chicken gizzards until I discovered this recipe from Italy. In a bowl, I'll place 500 grams of chicken gizzards, 2.5 cups of water, salt to taste, 1/4 cup of vinegar, then cover with plastic wrap and let it sit for 20 minutes. After that time, I'll remove the plastic wrap and drain all the water. Once that's done, I'll chop the gizzards into small pieces. Now I'll transfer the gizzards to a pan that already has a bit of olive oil. Then I'll add 1/4 cup of vinegar, 1/2 cup of water, stir. Make this recipe at home and come back to tell me what you thought. I'm sure you and your whole family will love it. Cover the pan and let it cook until the liquid evaporates. Now that the gizzards are cooked, I'll add 2 tablespoons of butter and mix really well. And before I forget, let me know what city you're watching from so I can send you a big hug. Today's hug goes to Marcus Anderson from Asheville, North Carolina. I'm so glad you're enjoying our recipes. At this point, I'll add 2 sliced onions, 1 chopped green bell pepper, 1 chopped tomato, and stir it all together. Let's sauté until the ingredients soften. This is the best way to cook gizzards, and I promise you won't regret making it. It's very easy and super tasty. You can serve it with white rice or whatever side dish you prefer. I'll add 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of oregano, and mix again. Tell me, how do you make chicken gizzards at home? I'd love to know your version.
You can make this cake in a pan. It's super quick and easy, a practical and delicious recipe. To start, I add 1 tablespoon of butter to the pan and let it melt completely. The butter has fully melted. Now I add 1 heaping tablespoon of sugar. I stir well to dissolve the sugar and let it caramelize with the butter. The sugar has caramelized, forming a golden, shiny syrup. Now, while the caramel is still hot in the pan, I add pineapple slices. I'm using canned pineapple, but if you prefer, you can use fresh pineapple. I arrange the slices evenly around the pan, making sure they are well placed. Done! All the pineapple slices are now on the bottom of the pan. Now, I set this aside while I prepare the cake batter. In a bowl, I add 1 egg, 3 tablespoons of sugar, and half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. The vanilla extract will give the batter a delicious aroma and a special flavor. I mix well until the sugar is fully dissolved. Now, I add half a cup of oil and half a cup of milk. I mix again until all the liquid ingredients are well incorporated. Then, I add 1.5 cups of sifted all-purpose flour, which helps make the batter lighter. I stir well until I have a smooth, lump-free mixture. I keep mixing slowly until the texture is silky and even. The batter is now well mixed. Now I add half a tablespoon of baking powder. I stir gently to incorporate the baking powder without losing the fluffiness of the batter. This batter is amazing, super light and full of flavor. Look at this perfect texture, airy and easy to prepare. And the best part is that this recipe is super fast. In less than 5 minutes, the batter is ready to cook. Now I pour the batter over the caramelized pineapple slices. I spread it carefully to make sure all the pineapple is covered. I scrape the bowl well to use all the batter and avoid waste. I spread the batter gently so it's evenly distributed and covers all the slices. Important reminder, the heat is still off so the caramel and pineapple don't burn. Now that everything is ready, I cover the pan with a lid. Then, I turn on the heat on very low and let the cake cook for about 15 minutes. Now it's time to flip the cake. To do this, I take a large plate and place it on top of the pan. Very carefully, I flip the cake so that the caramelized side is on top. I turn the heat back on and let it brown for a few more minutes. The cake is now fully cooked and golden brown on both sides. I turn off the heat and remove it from the pan. Using a spatula, I lift it carefully and place it on a serving plate. I put it back on the same plate I flipped it onto to keep a nice presentation. Now, it's time to cut a slice of this wonderful cake. Look at this amazing texture. The caramelized pineapple cake turned out absolutely perfect. Now, all that's left is to enjoy this delicious treat.